Hello everybody, my name's Starraptor and welcome to my channel. So this morning we had the Rogue One trailer number 2 drop. So you know what that means? I'm going to break this thing apart frame by frame and hopefully provide some speculation to what may be going on in this trailer. So let's take a look at the first shot here. It's a great way of opening a trailer with this beautiful shot of the beach, and I believe that is Orson Krennic's shuttle. So next up we see our first shot of Mads Mikkelsen's character Galen Erso, the father of Jyn Erso. He is the scientist. He is like the biggest part of this movie because he is the guy that is basically developing the Death Star. So all the way in there in the background you see director Orson Krennic's shuttle. Next up we see a pretty cool kind of ominous look at the Death Troopers. This also looks like it's on the same planet as Galen Erso. And here we see a better shot of Orson Krennic as well as the Death Troopers. You know, they're doing something. It looks like they might be arresting Galen Erso for some reason. Here's a close-up shot of Galen Erso, and the person on the left is actually his daughter, Jyn Erso, so this is definitely a flashback. Here we see director Orson Krennic looking a little bit younger. I don't think that's the same actor. I don't think that's Ben Mendelsohn playing him, but it looks like this is a pretty bad conflict going on here. And now we see Jeddah, which has been occupied by the Empire. Yes, this is like the Mecca of all Jedi. They come to this planet to basically seek like a spiritual kind of pilgrimage. This is a really cool shot. So we see basically the remains of an ancient Jedi statue in there on Jeddah. I like how this story doesn't have any Jedi particularly, but there are a lot of things about the Force, and we even see this statue here, which is a very, very big reminder of that. Now this shot is so cool. So this looks like it's on the planet of Yadu, that rain type of planet. This might be, for my speculation, where Galen Erso does all his research on the Death Star, because it looks like eventually, further on the trailer, the rebels also come back to this planet, so that'll be really interesting to figure out more about that. Here we got another shot of Orson Krennic on that same planet, Yadu. And this is one of those great shots. We had a couple of these back in trailer number 1, but this is a really, really awesome shot here. You see the Death Star just looming above what appears to be Jeddah, and the clouds in the foreground there are just like a really awesome kind of creative design on this looming weapon. So here we get our first dialogue from Bodhi Rook, and he is basically confirming the title of the movie called Rogue One. That is their call sign. That is what they're going to be using, you know, as agents going around trying to get these plans. And here we see what looks very familiar to those, you know, of A New Hope. We've seen this before. So this is the kind of like the map of finding a planet to destroy with the Death Star. And this is one of my favorite shots. So this is Orson Krennic confronting Darth Vader. And at first, when I first watched the trailer, I didn't even see Darth Vader on the left side. Like, until I watched it again, I picked it up and I'm like, oh man, this is a heated argument here. For Ben Mendelsohn's character against Darth Vader. You know, these guys are going toe-to-toe throughout the movie, hopefully. I don't know how much Vader we're going to see, but I just can't wait. Another great, powerful shot of the Death Star here with a few TIE fighters flying in there. Now, this shot is very interesting. So we know that Orson Krennic is standing all the way in the background there because of his white uniform. But what is the significance of this character in gray that is taking up most of the camera? I think this might be Grand Moff Tarkin. I mean, Grand Moff Tarkin has got to be in this movie in some capacity, because if you guys have read the Tarkin novel, we know that Tarkin was in charge of overlooking the construction of the Death Star. So in a pivotal moment like this, when the rebellion are stealing plans of the Death Star, this guy's got to be in there some shape or fashion. I originally thought he might be in like a hologram, because obviously Peter Cushing has passed away for some time now, so I felt like holocron would be the best way of trying to reconfigure him to do this, but they might be getting a little bolder and actually recasting somebody as Grand Moff Tarkin, so I can't wait. I hope this is him. Next up, this is a very familiar shot in Star Wars, the war planning room. And we got the hologram of the Death Star, very, very familiar with Return of the Jedi. And if you guys can tell, all the way on the left side, we got Amon Calamari. I don't think that's Admiral Akbar. It could be, I don't know. But then you also see General Dodonna all the way on the right there. Next up, we have a closer look at the people surrounding the table of the rebellion. I'm not sure who this woman in the hood is, but the guy that's next to her in the blue looks awfully familiar to somebody from Alderaan. It's not Bail Organa, but it definitely looks a lot like somebody from his planet, you know, with what he's wearing. Next up, we get our first look at the AT-ST. I knew this was going to be in the movie at some point because that they had the Lego set. And now that I'm looking at this picture again, you can actually see like a destroyed hover tank on the right there. So this is on Jedha. Some serious stuff goes down. It's going to be awesome. Now, in this picture, we get a look at what Saw Gerrera has become after all his war. We know this guy was in the Clone Wars and has been fighting for about 20 years at this point straight. So we know he's into power armor, and if you take a look at the next shot, that suit of armor is keeping him alive. He is so badly damaged that he's really at the end of his days, and I think we might see his demise by the end of this movie. Here we go with a shot from Scarif. We've never got this one before, but it is absolutely gorgeous. This is the type of place you want to go on a retreat. It's a paradise. I mean, it's a vacation spot, but the Empire has happened to occupy it with their special research facility. So this is going to be basically like the Pacific stage in World War II, but for Star Wars. So it's going to be phenomenal from what I've seen so far. Here's another beautiful shot of the rebels just running through this lavish rainforest type looking environment. And here we get a closer look at what the rebels are doing to get the plans. It looks like they're going to have to go undercover, they're going to have to get uniforms, and at first everybody was thinking from that teaser trailer that Jyn Erso was in a TIE fighter pilot outfit, but it looks like she's actually in an Imperial ground crew gear. That's pretty cool how they leave the visor kind of open to see the eyes. And then we have Cassian Andor on the left in an Imperial officer disguise. It looks pretty cool in that. And I like how you can tell how big K2SO is compared to the other characters in this shot especially. The droid is freaking huge. Next up, we get a look at this planet that I mentioned before, Iadu I believe it's called. So we got Baze Malbus and we got Chirrut Imwe there just looking upon the Rebels fleet coming in with their X-Wings and their Y-Wings. Here we get another action shot of Chirrut Imwe just beating the crap out of these stormtroopers. Even though he's blind, he could somehow sense them through the Force and dish out a whooping on them. And if you guys went to San Diego Comic-Con, you might have seen this guy in person. This is what they call Edrian Two Tubes, and he is one of the allies of Saw Gerrera, and you can also see his brother in the background there. This does look like it's on Jedha, so this might be earlier in the movie that we come across this guy. And here is a pretty cool shot. We see that Chirrut Imwe was a bit outnumbered, but we also had Baze Malbus covering him and just blasting all these stormtroopers to save his friend. And here's another great shot of Chirrut Imwe. This is the first time we actually seen him using that crossbow, and I believe this is actually his staff. It transforms into this, so that's really cool. A blind guy just firing deadly shots from a crossbow. That's pretty awesome. And this is our first confirmation that Rogue One will have some sort of space combat. Now that's really exciting because that's one thing I missed from The Force Awakens, was not having space combat. I am not sure what exactly they're fighting with, though. It's like some kind of space installation. It's not the Death Star, obviously. I'm not even sure where this could be orbiting. It's probably Scarif. Okay, so in this next shot, we actually see some of the bigger ships in the Rebellion. We see some Nebulon cruisers that we've seen in The Empire Strikes Back. There's also some of those Old Republic kind of ships that were introduced in the Rebels TV series, the Hammerhead type ships, so I was really excited to see those things. Now this next shot, it looks to be on that rain planet Iadu, and I think that is Orson Krennic's shuttle, so it's kind of cool to see like a shuttle actually doing combat, because usually they're just transporting people around. And here we get a great shot of K2SO actually piloting what might be the U-Wing. So, I mean, we haven't really seen this guy doing much, but at least now we know he can actually fly things. I don't know what kind of combat abilities he has. He's an enforcer droid, so he's got to be able to have some kind of combat abilities. And this next shot is really interesting, and I think this can tie back into the trailer number 1 from Rogue One, where Jedha looked like it was getting destroyed. So this might be like the start of that destruction. I think what happens is the Death Star is doing its like first test fire, and things don't go exactly as planned, and the destruction of the planet goes a little crazy. Now, this is the money shot from this trailer, guys. This is what made me most excited, and I'm sure it made most people excited about this particular shot. We got Darth Vader confronting Orson Krennic, and just the way that this is set up, like all the smoke around him, this is just a very dreadful shot. Like, I don't think this is going to end well for Orson Krennic. I mean, we kind of know he's going to die, especially by Vader, because he's the one that's playing against Vader for the praise from the Emperor. So, Vader says enough is enough, probably, and it's most likely going to kill him right here, I would assume. Now, this is also one of the most gorgeous, beautiful shots in this entire trailer. Is just the sight of how massive these AT-ACTs are, and you got the U-wing right there, and the AT-ACTs are just wading through that water with the explosions everywhere, and it's just like you got the dichotomy of like the beautiful forest and a beautiful turquoise water, but combined with the deadly force of the Empire is just such a cool shot. And finally, the last shot is really something I enjoyed because it's Baze Malbus and Chirrut Imwe running through this jungle, and on the left side there, that's actually the foot of an AT-ACT. So this reminds me a lot of Jurassic Park. So I really, really like this shot. So that is going to do it for my Rogue One, A Star Wars Story trailer number 2 breakdown. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Here is actually the poster they released yesterday with the announcement of the trailer. Very, very nice poster as well. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. I have a lot of cool Star Wars content, including a weekly Star Wars show where I talk about everything canon. This could be the comics, the games, novels, and the video games. So, with that being said, I'm Star Raptor. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you always. So, if you liked the video, then make sure you go ahead and hit that thumbs up symbol. And if you like this video, please hit that subscribe button down below. Doing so will help you stay up to speed on all of my latest content. Speaking of which, there's a recent video right over there. I'm also on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at Star Raptor. So what are you waiting for? Let's get talking pop culture.